Hello and welcome to ThePrint Live. Well, results are pouring in from different states. We are here to analyze the results from Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP is looking to sweep the state. At the same time, in Chhattisgarh, it might be a close contest. At the same time, in Rajasthan, also BJP looks comfortable. In Telangana, from where my colleague Sharan is joining us, the Congress looks quite comfortable. Sharan, can you explain a little bit about what's happening there, and at the same time what exactly is the result looks like?
Hi, I'm currently at the Congress office in Gandhinagar in Telangana, Hyderabad. And yeah, as you see, there is a lot of pouring in as of now into the office. So early trends have suggested that the Congress already crossed the halfway mark.
Sharan, is it possible for you to shift to a quieter place? Your voice is not very clear. He's joined us from the field, so the audio is not very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get back to this.
Meanwhile, I'll speak to my colleague Saurav. Saurav, you were in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, a lot of people were, political analysts were talking about the fact that, Congress was quite certain of winning the election. The results are showing that, in fact, it is the BJP which is leading. So, could you share some of your thoughts?
Yeah, as I said previously, also that Congress was confident going into the polls, but then one could not feel that feeling wasn't there. That was absent from on the ground. Whoever traveled there could feel that. And if you look at the numbers also, if you look at Bastar, for example, there are 12 seats in Bastar division. And last time Congress had got 11 out of 12 seats. This time it seems they will settle with some 4 to 5 seats. So it's a
Right.
huge leap from last time. Even in Sarguja, and remember these are all ST seats. These are all reserve seats in Bastar. 11 out of 12 seats in Bastar are reserve seats. Even in Sarguja, there are 14 seats in the Sarguja division. And out of 14, there are 9 tribal seats. Even in Sarguja, as things stand currently, the BJP is leading in 9. Congress is leading just in 5. And last time, Congress had won all 14 seats. So,
Right.
just if you just consider these two divisions, Congress is, facing a huge erosion.
Right. My colleague Sharan is joining us from Hyderabad. Sharan, in Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, things they don't seem to have worked for the Congress. What is it that went right for the Congress in Telangana?
Well, the leaders that we've spoken to since morning have been trying to tell us that, the 10 years of anti-incumbency and narrative that, the Chief Minister, K. Rao, KCR, has cornered most of the cabinet birds, consolidating power with his own family, his alleged, alliance or the tacit alliance, and how they were trying to keep the Congress out for the longest time, even attacking the legacy of Indira Gandhi. Now, all of these factors have had some sort of contribution in one way or another, which seem to have worked. Now, the Congress has also, made it a very, very local election. They haven't brought it to the So the leaders have been trying to tell us that, they sort of worked as a unit, put the differences aside, because that's how, things unraveled the last couple of times. But having said that, though, there's already celebrations and crackers going off at the Congress office here, uh, a lot of leaders are still, still waiting and watching very closely, because even a simple majority may not be a very safe, mark for the Congress yet, because the BRS obviously has an alliance with the AIMIM, and if they've worked out any more alliance, the Congress has gone in alone. So yeah, it's not in the bag as yet, but the Congress seems to have done far better than their 19 seats in the 2018 alliance. But whether or not they'll be able to be comfortable, past the 59 mark, and how much more than that is what matters. DK Shivakumar, the Karnataka Congress president, is already here. Allegedly, there are about 4 or 5 buses already parked in the runway of, in the driveway of the some resorts already booked in Bangalore. So a lot of drama yet to unfold here.
Right. So the celebration is on hold so far for the Congress. We have to wait for that. We also apologize for the poor audio because Sharon has joined us from Hyderabad. There are some network issues. Iram, I would like to ask you now that it's like a sweep in Madhya Pradesh. Has the Mama magic worked, or is it Modi's the brand Modi that has done its work for the BJP? It's almost been what 18 years that the BJP has governed Madhya Pradesh, and this means a lot as far as the BJP, party as a party is concerned.
Definitely, Neelam, what we are seeing, the early trends are definitely, I mean, a lot in favor of the BJP. They seem to have swept the entire central region, and even in Gwalior Chambal region, which was expected to give Congress a large number of seats, we see BJP gaining there and winning quite a number of seats. There certainly is a sizable increase in their vote share, which leads us to believe that perhaps it's the women folks that have come together and supported the BJP, as you and I had seen on the ground, that the Ladli Behna Yojana was resonating with the women on the ground. And that certainly seems to have consolidated the BJP's vote bank further in the state. Apart from that, I think it's the local leadership coupled with the strategy of the central leadership, wherein they had fielded leaders like Kailash Vijayvargiya, that has certainly added furthermore to the BJP's seat numbers. As we see, Kailash Vijayvargiya is leading, and so is Rakesh Singh, and he's giving senior Congress leader and former finance minister a tough fight, and he's trailing in his own bastion. So these strategies adopted by the central leadership seems to be giving great dividends in MP for the party right now. We've already seen that decorations, the party office is being set up, and sweets are being distributed. So seems like BJP is heading towards a historic victory here.
Yeah, well, they had run this campaign of MP ke man mein Modi. So what is it in Rajasthan, Amog? What did you see on ground? I mean, BJP looks comfortable, but what's your analysis?
Yeah, so as of now, BJP clearly looks comfortable, but we have to be sure that these are early trends. So
Yes.
one thing this makes, if these trends hold, what it makes clear is that freebies didn't work as much for the Gehlot government. As in, to highlight something, yes, this is Gehlot government as an incumbent. It's probably their best performance. In the way that whether it was 2003 election or 2013 election, they were reduced to somewhere in 20s or 30s, but as of now, they seem to be somewhere around 70 seats. But freebies, as we had said earlier also, they are not they didn't seem to be a deciding factor as much. And another thing that I would like to point out here that when we went on ground, we saw that it was a very local election. Now, when I say local election, I don't mean that at the state level. MLA candidate and the candidate from each party on that very seat mattered a lot. And that could have its implication. There was not really a lot of anti-incumbency towards Ashok Gehlot and his government broadly, but the local MLA, yes, there was anti-incumbency to some extent. But from here, I think we need to see what this means for the former Chief Minister, Vasundhara Raje, if BJP is able to hold these trends.
Yeah, as our colleague Shankar had said that Gehlot tujhse bair nahi, MLAs teri khair nahi. You are saying that seems to be working for the BJP. Sharan, I would like to ask that, as you said, that Congress is still not openly celebrating because you feel that, AIM is there, BJP could be able to pull some seats as well. So, what do you think the Congress strategy would be from here? As you said that they are already wondering about resort politics.
Yeah, so the leaders are saying that, for now, it is just ensuring that they get a comfortable majority. Once they do that, it is to shield all their MLAs. Because Renuka Chaudhary yesterday evening as well in an interview this morning to us has said that, she's already getting calls. Some of them, in fact, saying that some BRS MLAs are now reaching out to Congress and hoping it's over. Now, how far of this, how much of this we don't know, whether it will work out or not. But yeah, right now, the workers are already celebrating, looking at early trends, but leaders are still being cautious because you have to understand, the TRS has been in power for 10 years, and the Congress has a long way, to sort of establish itself. So anything below 65, a senior TRS leader told us, anything below 65 or 68, the Congress is still could be in trouble because then could be the threat of defection and other problems. So still, a lot of things get to happen right now in Hyderabad. But as you see, things are unraveling and slowly unfolding as
Right. Iram, I would like to just ask you about, this phenomena of, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, the Mama, as as he's known. So what exactly, what did he do as far as, Madhya Pradesh is concerned? He was not named as the chief ministerial candidate. There was this collective leadership under which the BJP fought these elections, especially focusing on PM Modi as well. Even on banners, on posters, on the campaign material, we could see that the collective leadership was something that the BJP focused on. But this is something big. If the initial trends are to go by, then this means a lot for Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who has served as the chief minister for almost 18 years.
So, Neelam, on the ground, even in the run up to the election, although there was a sentiment of change, I think that was a lot to do with the long spell of the government being in power. And we did not see the kind of anger that people would usually have for a CM who has served for 18 years. Although there was a sense of boredom, but then schemes like Ladli Behna Yojana have certainly given a big boost. And for Shivraj Singh Chauhan, despite not being openly named as the CM candidate if the party comes to power, he left no stones unturned, in the sense we saw him being the star campaigner and holding over 160 sabhas, and very methodically so. I mean, the BJP started campaigning on the seats which they felt they were losing grounds as the date of the counting neared, and they ensured that there is no base left. On the contrary, although Congress had a anti-incumbency sentiment going against their favor, the kind of campaign that you would expect, or the way we saw that in Karnataka, that kind of thing was lacking when it comes to the Congress. It felt like they were more dependent on the fact that the anti-incumbency will get them to power and people will come out in their support. For Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he remained active throughout, and even on the day of the voting, we saw him interacting with a lot of women folks who had come out to vote. And this time around, we also saw an upsurge of 2% women voters, although there were around 31 lakh new voters added. So I think Shivraj Singh Chauhan remained the star campaigner throughout, whether being the face of the party or no.
Saurav, you, as I said, you were in Chhattisgarh. Could you also talk a little more about, the BJP strategy? I mean, just to talk about what BJP did, this is one of the states where it came up with the list first. It also had fielded a sitting MP against Chief Minister Baghel. So, what is it that worked for the BJP in terms of what it was in the last assembly election to now? Is it their schemes? Is it the anti-corruption plank? Or is it the Hindutva politics? What is it that worked for the BJP?
Frankly, now that the BJP is winning, a lot of credit will be attributed to the BJP's whatever election machinery. But then, honestly speaking, the BJP did not really put up a spirited fight in Chhattisgarh as much as it does in other states. And
Right.
we'll have to keep in mind that Chhattisgarh is essentially a heartland state, and BJP has a huge voter base. I mean, already there, and in the last leg of the campaign, Prime Minister Narendra Modi really launched an aggressive campaign, and he targeted the Baghel government. He targeted Baghel himself. Baghel himself was facing allegations in the Mahadev app scam,
Yes.
and of course, BJP also tried to outdo the Congress in terms of promises. Even when it comes to the paddy procurement promise, BJP
Right.
went ahead and promised more in terms of money, in terms of dole for the farmers. And if you remember, BJP had promised the same even in 2013 when Raman Singh government had come to power, but they could not sustain those promises beyond 2 years. BJP this time it has promised that they will be giving those whatever was left in the remaining 3 years as arrears. So all these promises turned out to be lucrative, I guess.
So, Amol, can you speak a little about, Raje's campaign? Vasundhara Raje, who has served as a chief minister for 2 terms, many feel that she is in the race for the CM race. But what did you feel as far as on ground reportage is concerned? What was your assessment?
Neelam, so just to tell our viewers, probably after Prime Minister Modi and the central leadership of BJP, Raje was the most active BJP leader in Rajasthan. She campaigned throughout Rajasthan, though we've seen that central leadership has tried to sideline Rajasthan over the last few years. But when it comes to her CM-ship, when you go on ground, yes, among women, Raje remains quite popular. Even others, they know only one CM contender for BJP, and that is Vasundhara Raje Scindia. But did they vote just because Raje was the CM face or not? That's not the case. Her face was not the deciding factor for BJP as much as it would have been in past for the last 25 years, probably. So her being sidelined or not being sidelined was not really a big issue for voters in Rajasthan, as far as I gathered from ground.
Yeah, well, she did campaign extensively across the state. She, addressed around 60 rallies for whoever approached her, because as such, she was not asked by the central leadership to campaign for specific leaders the way it is done as far as the central leadership is concerned. Sharan, if you could speak a little more about the BRS, what is it that went wrong? I mean, if we look at these early trends, I mean, even if it's close, what is it that they were not able to get right in these elections as far as election strategy is concerned?
One of the things was whether the minority will remain with the BRS. So the Congress was successful to a very large extent in reaching the narrative that the BRS and the BJP are handling well. The Prime Minister's statement that the BRS approached him for an alliance and he said no. All of that had some bearing, and now he's going to form a very sort of several though there's 14% across the state, it's a lot more in several pockets, especially in Hyderabad and other places. Now, the Congress had some success in trying to tell the minorities that if you vote for the BRS, you are essentially strengthening the BJP. Now, that is a very strong factor. Apart from that, they spoke about inaccessibility, how the KCR and his family has sort of consolidated power and now inaccessible. So one of the manifestos, or rather one of the things that the Congress strategized is, once we come to power, we will give people Janata Darshan and other, public and government sort of interface, such programs that we will give. Now, these are very basic, but these are the things that they were really able to play on, apart from the anti-incumbency and the alleged corruption and the agitation. There's another factor which some analysts say were, that KCR was speaking very well of YSR Jagan in neighboring Andhra Pradesh and Chandrababu Naidu. So they publicly acknowledged that Chandrababu Naidu is one of the few people who really helped develop Hyderabad, so does Rajasthan Reddy. Now, this was seen as posing up to two rivals in the neighboring state, whose politics in Telangana is very, very different. Now, stating that, if you vote for Chandrababu Naidu, then, or rather, if you're good with Chandrababu Naidu, it means certain things towards the Andhra center. It says Jagan Reddy, it means certain things in Telangana as well. So, yeah, in that sense, if they were able to spin this, or rather, promote this narrative that the BRS has been going out of the way and will do anything to remain in power and keep the Congress out of power. So the Congress very efficiently made it seem like all of them versus a Congress that is fighting alone. So yeah, to a very large extent, that was one of the biggest reasons that they were able to get what they have been able to get. And also they've been able to keep aside their differences that were cropping up in the regional, PCC. I think after Karnataka, even the central leadership have been speaking more on local issues than on any central issues. There's also the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which they say had a very, very big impact, in terms of how they mobilized support, reinvigorated the masses as a mass-based party. Yeah, many things that worked in its favor so far. But we'll have to still wait and see how this plays out.
Idam, what does it mean for the former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Kamal Nath, Digvijay Singh? The entire campaign of the Congress was focused on Kamal Nath. There was no collective leadership as as was the case with the BJP. What does it mean for him?
I think for Kamalnath, this was in his own words, this was a way to correct a historic wrong when the Congress was, pulled out of power after the fall of his government with Scindia and his loyalists moving. There was a sentiment that at least the Gwalior Chambal region, and as we felt on the ground that, people out very spoke very clearly that, Congress was wronged and thereby it will come, voters will support them. We don't see that happening. And when it comes to senior leaders like Kamalnath and Digvijay Singh, who said, I mean, at least for Digvijay on multiple occasions, he said that the Congress would cross 130 seats. That seemed like a very distant thing now, given the early trends where the Congress is leading in over 75 seats. So as far as these two leaders, I think it's a very big blow for the Congress as an organization which has remained out of power. I mean, when we talk about the BJP and the Congress, we look at how Congress is very organizationally far behind when it comes to the BJP. So this is certainly another major blow for them.
Right. Saurabh, as Ira was saying that, as far as Congress is concerned in Madhya Pradesh, things, they don't seem to have worked out for them in the state. As far as Chhattisgarh is concerned, Bhupesh Baghel come across as a very strong leader. And as far as their campaign is concerned, many felt that it was a quite well planned, a strategic campaign. So what is it that you think, didn't seem to have worked for them as far as Chhattisgarh is concerned? I mean, in terms of that, from a clear win to coming to a close contest.
So I think 6-7 months before the elections, it seemed that the Congress had finally put its house in order in Chhattisgarh after they got, TS Singh Dev and Baghel to shake hands.
Right.
Then
On board, yeah.
there was clearly there was simmering discontent among the Devo faction, and if you look at the Sarguja verdict, it's very evident, and a lot of rebels had actually been they contested against Congress, and that seemed to have hurt the Congress in Sarguja. And I mean, Congress has a lot to introspect about in Chhattisgarh. The sheer erosion in its tribal vote base is something astonishing.
Right.
Also, Neelam, I would like to add when it comes to Kamalnath and Digvijay, we saw the two leaders working together this time, and especially not towards the fag end of the campaign, but initially when the tickets distribution was happening. Before that, there seems to be a very consolidated effort of giving giving the tickets right based on the caste combination and things. But as we headed towards the voting, we saw Congress changing several tickets. That also brought for the disagreement between the leaders or candidates. Then Congress saw a lot of rebellion of candidates who were initially promised a ticket, who went out and sort of contested on SP BSP ticket. So that also once again brings to fore the factionalism within the two leaders that are holding fort when it comes to Congress
Right.
in MP.
Sharon, we've already spoken about the Congress and the BRS, but what exactly, these elections signify for the BJP? BJP campaigned extensively, right from Prime Minister Narendra Modi to a host of union ministers, central leaderships. They had even announced who their CM would be if voted to pass. So what does it mean for BJP?
In fact, I'd like to put it another way that the BJP leaders that we speak to say that the BJP had gained some momentum. Yes, in polls, they did have setbacks, but then removing Bandi Sanjay as the BJP state president apparently was a very, very big blow for them. He was a grassroots level leader, and they replaced him with Kishan Reddy. Now, for the BJP, they haven't been able to make much ground, and latest trends are suggesting that their firebrand leader from Hyderabad, Raja Singh from Kosha Mahal, is actually trailing. So it doesn't look like a lot has worked in their favor. But I think that only at the moment the only option that the BJP would see is to continue working on the ground or actually form alliances, open alliances with some of these parties. Because on their own, they've been struggling for a very, very long time. and the gains that they made last elections may not remain the same. They may have slipped a little, but final results will be able to tell us more. So it's just sort of to say that where Karnataka, South India, like Renuka Chaudhary said, that the BJP hasn't been able to gauge and understand southern sensibilities. They try and bring the same politics from the north and apply the same in the south, which doesn't necessarily work. So if the results hold, if the trends hold, then probably she might be right on that particular point.
Well, I'll just end with this particular question to Iram. Iram, as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned, the question would, many would want to know now is who would be the chief minister? Considering, no announcement as far as CM-ship was concerned was made by the BJP. They focused on collective leadership. So what does it mean considering there are so many aspirants?
I think it would be a very difficult call which the BJP will have to make, considering that Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been the chief minister for over 18 years now. And even before the assembly election, we saw there were, rumors doing the rounds of BJP wanting to change the leadership. And then they headed into the election with a collective leadership model where they had several leaders. Now, when the BJP seems to be heading towards a clear majority, it remains to be seen whether it would be one amongst the 9 stalwart leaders that they had fielded. Will you have a chief minister from them, or will, as BJP exactly, as BJP is known to spring surprises, you'll have a totally different person who would be made as a chief minister. So it remains to be seen. And considering the upcoming Lok Sabha election, where one cannot undermine at all Shivraj Singh's popularity, and considering that he comes from the OBC community, which holds about 50% of the population of Madhya Pradesh, it would be a difficult call, certainly for the BJP to make.
Well, thank you so much for your analysis. Thank you, Sharan, for joining